What's up, physics gang? So I'm going to do a little demonstration of how to take some data from a data table in a document and put it into a spreadsheet and do some data analysis. Okay, so in this case, I'm looking at our digital lab on mass and weight. And I'm going to assume that we've done all these parts so far and that we're up to this data table here, which is table one, body weight on the surface of various solar system objects. Okay, so what we're going to do is first, what we should do is go to Google Drive, use your school account so you don't mix up your personal things with school stuff. And what you could do is make a new folder, right? Make a new folder and name it physics so that you know where all your physics stuff is. I would do that. And then once you're in your physics folder, here, look, I'll go to my physics folder. Physics. Cool. So now I'm in my physics folder. And what you want to do once you're in there is click on new again and make a new spreadsheet. Okay. And it'll say, if you have a shared folder, it'll ask you that question. You probably won't get that question come up and you'll have a new spreadsheet. So let me open up my physics experiment spreadsheet. What did I just say? Okay. Okay, so you're going to have a brand new spreadsheet, which will have a blank table, but I want to show you something useful here. The cool thing about spreadsheet programs, whether it's Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, is that you don't need to keep making a whole new spreadsheet document every time you have a new sheet. You probably see here that I have many different sheets within this one sheet. So this is likely your first one. But I want to show you something. If you want to add a new sheet for a new experiment, you click this plus sign at the bottom bar here. And right, if you look here, in my case, it made sheet number 37, which I don't like that name. So what I want you to do is what I'm doing right now is if you right click or click on the menu here, that little arrow, click on rename and let's call this mass and weight. Cool. You can also click there or right click or whatever and go to change the color. I don't know, mass and weight. Cool, nice blue, whatever. Okay, that's the unimportant part out of the way. So now we have a spreadsheet. What I would like for you to do though is click on share. You can go to file, share, or there's this button here at the top. By the way, if you're not seeing some menu items, there is a drop down menu arrow here, just like there is on the tabs here. Okay, so share. So this is important. I want you to share it with me, JMINUTILLO at schools.nyc.gov, and with Miss Uzamere, okay, AUZAMERE at schools.nyc.gov. So share these spreadsheets with us so that we can give you feedback, grade them, whatever we need to do, help you with them. Okay? All right. So that's what you want to do is make a new spreadsheet, share it with us. Oh, and of course, how could I forget this? What about the title? So if you notice, I titled mine Physics Labs Mr. M. You could do basically the same thing. Put Physics Labs and then your first and last name, first initial, last name, something like that. So we know whose file it is. Okay, ready to get to work? Let's roll. So let's go to the document. Now we have a data table here. Solar system object, gravitational acceleration in meters per second squared, and weight in force of newtons. All right, what we want to do is grab all the data here. So highlight all of that, copy it, go back to the spreadsheet, go to the top left corner. By the way, the vertical columns, A, B, C, D, E, etc., are columns. The numbers, 1 and so on, are the rows, and each box is a cell. So we want to go to the top leftmost cell, click, paste, boom. We can do a little bit of organization if we want. We can resize the columns, whatever, make it look nicer. One useful tip when working with spreadsheets is a lot of times the first row is a title of the column, right? And we don't want that to disappear every time we're scrolling. So here's what you do. You go to View, Freeze, one row. And if you notice now that I froze the first row, it is frozen in place. And if I scroll, it will not disappear. In the future, if you ever need to do this, you can also freeze. So view, freeze the first column, in which case the first column will also stay stuck in one spot. However, don't do that right now. There's no need for us to freeze the columns. Okay, so ready? Let's get to work with the numbers. So the cool thing about spreadsheets is this. When you put an equal sign into a cell, so if you notice, I went to the first blank cell underneath the column weight in newtons. And when I put the equal sign, I don't know if you notice it, but there's a little question mark. So the way that spreadsheet programs work is that when you go to an empty cell and type in an equal sign, the spreadsheet program is basically going, oh, okay, cool, equals what? And it's listening up for you to tell it what to do. This means that we can type in a mathematical equation for it to do. So let's do that. So let's go back to the document really quick and think about what we're doing in this lab. We are trying to calculate our weight if we were to go to the surface of different planets and moons in our solar system because they have different amounts of gravitational acceleration. What would happen to our weight? And what we're learning about here is that weight is force due to gravity, and it's equal to mass multiplied by gravitational acceleration. This is an easy equation. It's just mass times gravity. So I'm going to show you my example. Now, don't copy me because you all have a different body mass than me. My body mass turns out to be about, I don't know, a nice cool 88.5 kilograms. By the way, don't put units, just put the number. Okay, so I'm typing in my mass, 88.5. Now, what's the equation? It's mass times gravitational acceleration. So the symbol used universally on computers for multiply is the asterisk. Aster means star. So asterisk is the little star. You get it by holding shift and then pressing the number 8 on your keyboard. Okay, so now what? The equation is mass times gravitational acceleration. Well, if we look at the column to our left, that is gravitational acceleration. So if I just click right there, if you notice in the cell, it says, oh, you want me to take the number from B2 and multiply it? Yes, I do. Enter. That's it. Easy equation. It was just my mass multiplied by the gravitational acceleration there. So do I have to type in that equation for all of these different planets and moons? Nope. And that's the reason why we're using a spreadsheet. If you notice, when I click in the cell that has an equation, at the bottom right corner, there's a little blue square. Click that, hold in your click, drag it down, and ta-da! The spreadsheet program redoes that math equation that you gave it, except it takes your mass and multiplies it by the number here, and then it takes your mass and multiplies it by the gravitational acceleration here, and again here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and it would do that for many more times if you wanted. To clean this up a little bit, again, this is unnecessary, but I'm being a little obsessive compulsive here. I'm going to change the alignment to the right, kind of like that, having the title on the top left and the numbers at the bottom right. Okay, so we're basically done. Just one more math trick here. If you feel like there were, let's say the program gave you way too many decimal places, right? Way too many significant figures. What you could do is select these cells and go here to decrease decimal places until we have something a bit more manageable and have the correct number of significant figures. That's really it. So we're done. So now what do we do to finalize this? Let's take, oh, I'm sorry, why am I selecting all of those? We want to make a graph. Okay, we want to make a graph of gravitational acceleration on the x-axis and weight on the y. So here's what we're going to do. Click the two titles and then drag down so that you have all of the data. Okay, so we just want these two columns, gravitational acceleration versus weight. Go to Insert and then Chart. There's even a little bar graph button there. You could do either one. They'll do the same thing. Okay, so now it gave me a nice scatter chart. If it doesn't give you a scatter chart, here's how you get a scatter chart. So here, I'll close this. Let's say you go back to this program and you're like, oh, here's my graph. I don't know what to do. So you click on the graph, click on the overflow menu, which is the little 3-dot menu, and click on Edit Chart. If it gave you something other than a scatter chart, click Chart Type, and you would scroll. And again, a lot of these, they're cute for like business and other classes, but for science is really, we're supposed to use scatter charts, okay? So there we go. So chart type, scatter chart. Cool. Almost done. there's something important that you may or may not have done in math classes or other science classes by now. But us scientists want to see what's the trend, what's going on here, what's the trend with weight and gravitational acceleration. And what we really care about is the slope. So let's make the program give us the slope. So again, click on the chart, click on edit chart. We did the setup. Now let's go to customize. This is really cool. All right, try to remember this after you graduate. This helped me in college classes. All right, customize. Could I change the letter and the font and the colors and all that? Yeah, but it's not an art class. I don't really care. I care about the math. So click on series. That series means the data series, the y-axis. So click on series. Okay, so again, we're in the menu, customize, series. All right, scroll down. Could I change this if I wanted to? Yeah, sure, whatever. But again, not important. Check this out. So underneath series, scroll down a little. You see where it says trend line? Look at that. The program made a best fit line for me. And one more trick. Scroll down a little bit more. You see where it says label? I want it to make the equation of the line in the format y equals mx plus or minus b. And this is important because if you remember, in the equation for a line, the number before the x, the m, is the slope. So it calculated the slope for me. All right, last thing and we're done. Click on the graph, and you might be able to right-click. No? Oh, that's just bringing up the menu. All right, so then click on the graph, click the three-dot overflow. That's really what that's called. People call it the hamburger or the little ants menu. It's called the overflow menu. Click that, click copy, go back to your laboratory document, scroll down, and paste the graph. And you see where it says link to spreadsheet? Yes, we want to do that because that means that if we go back to our data set here and adjust it, that means that as long as you're connected to the internet, it will sync and fix this graph here. Oh, speaking of which, you know what? I just realized we left this table alone. Let's go do that too. Let's practice doing this. Copy, right? Select and copy your whole data table from the spreadsheet and watch this. I'm actually going to right click and delete this whole table. And in place, what I'm going to do, and I want you to do this also, is paste your table from the spreadsheet and yes, link it to the spreadsheet. Again, this is really cool because that means as long as you're on the internet, you don't have to go back to the document to fix it. If you adjust the table on this document or the spreadsheet, it will automatically adjust the next time you open this up. It might say something up here like to update it or something. That's it. So now you have an updated spreadsheet and or data table, I should say, from the spreadsheet and a chart. And as far as the analysis questions, I'll leave that up to you, but use your data table and the chart that you have of weight versus gravitational acceleration. All right, nerds, good luck. You got this. Peace.